Rest in peace, McKinsey, I can show you how to do it all with AI. This type of clickbait is flooding LinkedIn these days, but there is a kernel of truth in it. While LinkedIn prompt libraries won't get you anywhere, Anthropic is actually partnering with private equity firms to build the McKinsey of AI. But until that happens, we want to look at the current consulting capabilities of AI. We've talked about the general outlook of consulting versus AI, but today we put it to the test. Let's feed Claude real McKinsey presentations to learn from, and then give it a task that we would give to a senior associate. And then review the results as if we were McKinsey partners. Okay, so here's the plan. Give Claude 10 real McKinsey presentations to learn what they look like. We chose proposal documents, so pitches to clients, to ensure it's the highest quality standard. Then, give him a prompt to create a presentation about a certain topic. Claude will do the research, create the storyline and the slides all by himself. Finally, we review the results and evaluate it based on structure, storyline, writing style, content, and visual appeal. So, does it look pretty? And will it wow the clients? We're going to skip step 1, where we fed Claude 10 McKinsey presentations and had him create a style guide. That's part of another video, and if you never want to miss one, subscribe and hit the bell. And if you're interested in getting the style guide, let us know in the comments. Then, the topic and concrete prompt we gave Claude was this. Please create a presentation pitching the advantages of renewable energy. We operate a sustainability fund, and our audience are institutional investors. We want to convince them that they should invest into renewable energy via our fund. That's a topic where there's a lot of public data out there, so you have something to work with. And it's a broad topic where you need to give a good overview while separating the important from the unimportant. We did this exercise with Claude as well as Claude Design. The results were nearly identical. Alright, so let's see how Claude did. First, structure, because if there's one thing drilled into the heads of consultants, it's being structured. Claude starts off with a table of contents. An executive summary would have been better because at McKinsey there is no document for senior clients without an executive summary. In terms of structure, there are 4 clean chapters, and the chapters are clearly labeled. The table of contents is also used as a section divider later. That worked well. Claude also used the structure it established as a reference point in the header throughout the document, above the action title. This is nice, but the referencing is not as clean. The wording differs from the table of contents, and Claude never picked up the number of the table of contents ever again. Claude realized that McKinsey loves to use trackers, but it places them incorrectly. On slide 9, all of a sudden, tracker A, B, and C is introduced. But this is not picked up later, for example for deep dives or for referencing back. The trackers are useless in this case. It gets even messier on slide 12. Here, 1, 2, and 3 is introduced. But on the next slide, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So naturally, you'd think that the trackers have some meaning and try to match them, but there is no logic to it. All in all, we give it 3 out of 5 stars on structure. Next, we look at the storyline, because every presentation has to have a good storyline. Overall, the storyline is good. Exactly how we would do it. The 4 chapters make total sense. First, explain the underlying market dynamics with a broad array of topics, including policy drivers. Then, explain what that means for investments. Next, we move to the fund and what makes it special. That's the typical "Why us" chapter. And finally, we're rounding it off with next steps. The substructure within the chapters works well, but only in limited chapters. For the market dynamics, we have first top line growth, then we have cost improvement or bottom line improvement, and lastly, policy tailwind. That's good. A takeaway at the end of the chapter would have been nice though. All the evidence is indicating that the market dynamics are favorable. Why not stating that explicitly at the end of the chapter? Next, we're getting into the investment thesis. Here, it already feels like a bit of a mixed bag. First, you have the IRR, so the internal rate of return, meaning the profitability of such investments. Then we have megatrends, and then we have policy and regulatory topics. And this is where it gets a bit mixed. IRR makes sense as an investment thesis. The megatrends and policy should be part of the market section. Chapters 3 and 4 are okay in the way they are structured. The big problem here across the board is that it's not meaty. Many things that are touched upon in chapter 1 are repeated in chapter 2. Maybe in a bit more granular fashion, but that's it. For example, policy drivers. If they already have been discussed in the market section, why mention them in the investment thesis? The megatrends in chapter 2 are also partly repeating chapter 1, and maybe they should go there altogether, as we always start from the big picture and then drill down. Investment thesis could also be integrated in the market section. All the information on the market and policy is a nice lead up to the investment thesis. And then finally, sometimes the arguments on the slide don't support the action title, even if the action title tells a strong story. For example, on page 5, renewable energy is now the cheapest energy source in 90% of the countries. No information on the slide supports the 90% claim. You can kind of make the claim that renewable energy is cheaper than fossil fuels, but it's not so simple. The only strong claim that you can make is that renewable energy got cheaper between 2015 and 2024. The action title is super important because it synthesizes the whole story. If you just flip through the presentation reading the action titles, you should come away with a clear understanding of what the presentation is trying to convey. So overall, the high-level storyline is good, but as soon as you go one layer deeper, the problems start, and they get increasingly more problematic the closer you look. 2 out of 5 stars for the storyline. Next, we move on to the writing style and the wording. A big issue is right there in the beginning, the table of content, which semi-functions as an executive summary. What you have here is ambiguous wording. The renewable energy market is at an inflection point. What does that mean? An inflection can mean a sharp upward move or a sharp downward move. Don't leave the audience guessing. The wording has to go something like this: the renewables market is growing. The wording can be more sophisticated or detailed, but keep it simple, stupid. Simplicity is king. Make sure everyone is clear on the message on page 1. Make it idiot-proof. This is not a novel where you have to read to the end to learn who the killer was or what actually happened. You have to lead with the main message. This goes on and on, the investment thesis, our fund performance, next steps, and so on. That's just chapter descriptions, but you need to use words to tell the story. For example, it could go something like this: the renewables market is growing. The investment case in renewables is strong. Our fund has a superior track record and unique capabilities. And you could cap it off with partnership model and next steps. That last one is totally fine. The action titles are well formulated. Maybe they could even pick up the key data point from the slide or chart, but that's more optional. For example, from growing ESG mandates and regulatory requirements are creating structural demand for renewable energy exposure, to ESG mandates and regulatory requirements are creating structural demand, pushing ESG mandated assets under management to more than $50 trillion by 2026. The bullets and takeaway boxes are also well formulated across the board and very consistent. They're action-oriented, they're sharp, and to the point. So overall, good job on the wording, 4 out of 5 stars. Then we move on to the actual content. And first we have to say the sources that Claude used tend to be great quality. McKinsey Global Energy Perspectives, BNEF, so Bloomberg New Energy Finance, Lazard, the International Energy Agency, IEA, the EU Commission, US Department of Energy, exactly what we would expect. So great job there. However, were the sources used correctly? Here it says $620 billion investment in renewables in 2025. First of all, I don't know from which source this number is from. If I investigate myself, I find that Bloomberg says $690 billion and the International Energy Agency says $780 billion. That is horrible and an automatic death sentence. If a client doesn't know where the number is from and then learns or even just thinks that your numbers are wrong, you're cooked. Next, Claude wasn't always as stringent with the content, considering the storyline they want to tell. Here, ESG is linked to climate, but they are not the same. You need to properly explain the link if you want to do that. Page 9 does it well with how the regulatory catalysts are driving climate topics. But why use the ESG mandated assets under management as a chart? Surely there's a more climate-focused chart. For example, from the green bond market and the analysis of the use of proceeds of those. There should be more use of proprietary McKinsey data, but we'll give Claude the benefit of the doubt that with the proper integration, this would have been done. The big question, of course, is, can Claude do serious analytical work? For example, combining data sources, or transforming data, or create a model. Let's say collecting sample data from actual companies and then extrapolating that to the overall market. That's highly questionable, given that Claude didn't even source the data right. So overall, on content, used the right sources, but didn't use them properly, or brings only subpar arguments. 2 out of 5 stars. And finally, the looks. Is it a well-designed presentation? Let's be honest, Claude does not come close to the quality of the McKinsey presentations we fed it. It did a great job picking up the color scheme and broadly the feel of the slides, but the overall look is bad. If a junior consultant were to deliver such slides, it would be a major issue. But let's get into it in detail. Slide 4 looks empty. Why not stretch out the chart and give it a proper headline? The chart label is super subtle and hardly visible. It should be up here and super prominent. The key insights could also be stretched with larger font size and more spacing. Slide 5 could need the same treatment as slide 4. Other than that, the right-hand side with the larger numbers and smaller font is actually quite McKinsey-like. On slide 6, the action title is not formatted well. McKinsey would use a larger font and it would be Georgia instead of the Arial that is being used here. The font size could be larger and McKinsey would use flags instead of random symbols next to the regions. Also, the main message at the bottom could be positioned more prominently. Slide 8 is inconsistent in terms of color coding. Strong is green for renewable energy, but not for infrastructure. If the color coding means anything, then you need to explain it, but here it just looks like it's not applied consistently. The same goes for low in renewable energy compared to investment grade bonds. On slide 9, we already mentioned the redundant trackers. The large numbers with smaller font are actually quite McKinsey-style, even though the font would likely be Georgia Sans for the numbers and not Arial. Again, the slide looks quite empty, so the font size could be larger and the text boxes more spread out to fill the page. Slide 10, again the header of the chart is missing or in the totally wrong place, and the slide could be more filled. Slide 12 could be more filled with a larger font size, the same goes for slide 13. Slide 14, the same with all the charts, header is missing. Large numbers are again McKinsey style but not the right formatting. Slide 16 could be more filled again with larger font size. The formatting on slide 17 is a bit off but could actually be quite nice with larger font size. So overall, the formatting is not what a proper McKinsey presentation would look like. Clearly not. 1 out of 5 stars. But to highlight some positive points, Claude did a good job of staying on the canvas, limited by the action titles. The color coding is on the spot even though the font is not. And the large numbers with smaller text are very McKinsey-like. So what's the verdict? Can Claude replace McKinsey? The clear answer is
hell no, motherfuckers!
If a McKinsey junior consultant in one of our teams would have delivered such a presentation, he or she would have been on a performance improvement plan immediately. But in all seriousness, it's not close to McKinsey standards. However, Claude did a great job in doing the research and structuring the document. It's not perfect, but it really helps getting started. And you don't have to look at a blank canvas and start with a relatively clean document in front of you. In the next video, we'll share the exact style guide Claude created based on the McKinsey presentations and show how to use the style guide for your advantage. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and activate the bell for more content like this. Let us know in the comments below if you have any questions or if there's a topic you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for watching and we'll catch you in the next one.